Hi there, it's Katrin at 3Ps. Welcome to the gym. This is workout 2 in our 15-minute shape up, and it is intended for those of you who don't do a huge amount of weights, want to do a bit to shape up without getting huge. Add it as a 15-minute shape up at the end of your cardio routine 3 to 4 times a week, and you will end up with a good tone to your arms, your legs, your chest and your back. So you'll look overall fit without looking massive or like you're going to go and be a bouncer at a nightclub. So it's great for those of you who want to do a bit of weights but not a huge amount. So I've done workout 1. If you go onto the YouTube channel, this channel, and if you search 15-minute shape up, it'll come up. This is workout 2. Quick preview on what we're going to do. It's 6 exercises done in 3 pairs. So it's 3 supersets. That's a pair of exercises, a superset. It's 3 supersets. If you do them back to back, with each superset, you have 45-second rest between each, max. This is about moving it to this routine so that you get it all done in 15 minutes. As I said, if you do this routine, you'll end up looking toned and as if you lift some weights without looking massive. So we're going to start first of all with a couple of classic moves which you use for your whole body and particularly for your legs and your core and your back. And the first of that is a clean and press, and the second is a squat. The clean and press I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show 2 different techniques, one using a full-size Olympic bar, one using a smaller bar. The reason I'm showing you both is that if you're in a busy gym, you may not have room for an Olympic bar, and at home you probably won't have an Olympic bar, so it's showing you how you can do this exercise also with a shorter bar, which if you're in a gym is also safer. So I'll start with the Olympic bar, just as usual, demonstrate silently, then come back, explain technique, then I'll do the same thing with a shorter bar, and just to show you how to do what's called a clean and press. Okay. Okay, so that is a clean and press. A clean and press is an action which pulls a bar from the floor up past your knees to your hips, and then you, with a flick of the hips, you bring the bar onto your deltoids, not your clavicle, so not your collarbone, onto your front shoulders in this motion, and then it's a press movement above your head. It's fantastic because it uses your whole body. It's a brilliant exercise. When I do clean and presses, I feel so great that day because I've used my whole body, particularly my core. So I really feel like I've done a workout. So I'm just going to take the technical points now. I'll do it with the Olympic bar, then I said I'll come back and do a shorter bar. So, Olympic bar is 20 kilos. If you are a woman, a learner, you might find this too heavy. If you're a guy, and you've used an Olympic bar before, then it's a useful one to start with. But if you haven't used an Olympic bar before, please take care because it's quite a wide thing. It's something which is quite easy to overbalance with. So take it gently. If you are more experienced with Olympic bars, you can, and you're stronger, you can add weights to the ends of this bar to make it heavier. But you're not going to go really heavy with this routine because you're doing a clean and press. So you basically bring the bar up from the floor to your shoulders and the shoulders above your head. There is an exercise workout sheet that relates to this workout. If you go onto my website, it's www.3pspublishing.com/15-minute-shape-up. It gives you health and safety on this, particularly you're lifting weights above your head. Be careful if you have high blood pressure or hypertension because this will raise your blood pressure. If you have those sorts of issues or you're pregnant, please get medical clearance before you do any of these routines. For any of you, even if you are fit as a fiddle, just take care with lifting a bar above your head because you've got to have some control, particularly in your shoulders. So, technical points. Feet straight ahead. When you bend, your knees are going to go over your ankles. You want to make sure that you're facing straight ahead and your toes aren't in any way splayed, okay? Toes should be facing straight forward. I have a great friend of mine who's a wrestler, was WWE, and he's had a huge amount of training in sex. Obviously, if you're wrestling professionally, you need to be very fit and it also needs to be quite big. He was taught to squat with his feet in this sort of ballet position, bizarrely. And the result was when he came back to the UK and was squatting here and getting some training here, he was unable to squat with his feet facing forward. He had created an imbalance, particularly in his knees, which was going to make him more prone to injury. So he had to do a lot of work to straighten his legs out. I, a couple of years ago, managed to rip a hamstring on my right side, and one of the rehabilitation exercises I did was a lot of squatting lightweight, but watching my knees and my ankles to make sure that my knees were balanced. It was all about making sure that I had the muscle memory to be straight when I did anything like a deadlift or a squat, to try to avoid re-exposing the vulnerability I have on my right side. So, your feet are straight ahead, your knees are going to go over your ankles. When you pick this bar up from the floor, you're not going to bend like this, so you're not going to do this movement. You're going to dip with your hips and your bum. You're going to get your bum nice and low while keeping your chest up and your back nice and long. Sometimes they talk about flat back, which is another old-fashioned way of lifting, which is where you actually tuck your hips in. We're not looking for that. The modern advice is that actually what you want is a long back, but if you have a slight arch, that's fine. But just as if you've got a string that's suspending you from the ceiling, which is just lifting you up, getting your back nice and long. So you're going to have your feet straight ahead, you're going to bend at the knees, and you're going to bend at the hips. You're going to come down, bringing your bottom towards the ground. So it's not this movement, it's this movement, okay? Chest up, as you can see, okay? Your hands are going to be slightly wider than hip distance apart, because when you pick up that bar, your hands need to travel either side of your knees. If you have your hands too narrow, you're going to bump your knees. You want your hands to go either side of your knees, and what you're going to do with this bar is you're going to roll it up your calves, keeping your stomach nice and tight. You roll it up your calves, you roll it over your knees, up to mid-thigh towards your hip. As you get to your hip, you're going to flick with your hips and you're going to push the bar up into this movement, as shown on the side. So, bum down, chest up. Back of it. Bum down, chest up. As you pull the bar up over your shins, it comes over your knees, over your thighs. As it gets towards your hip, the crease in your hips here, you're then going to flick with your hips, and with that motion and with the power in your legs, you're going to push the bar up so it's resting on your shoulders. And then you're going to push from there. Bring it back down to your shoulders under control. Bring it down to your hips under control. Roll it back down over your knees. Let me show you one more time with the bar. Okay. So, I picked up the bar. It is wider than hip distance. So I know, because when I come down, my hands are not making contact with my knees. My hands are outside my knees. As I come down, I'm going to bend my knees. I'm also going to bend my hips. Get my bum down. Now, this bar is almost on the ground now. It's in contact with my calves, my shin bone. It's going to roll up past my shins, past my knees, past my hips. Once it gets towards my hips, I'm going to do a little jump with my legs and I'm going to flick with my hips to bring the bar up here. So it's now resting on my deltoids, okay, on my shoulders. And then I'm just going to literally push it above my head, okay? Bring it down to my shoulders, roll it down my body, to my hips, roll it down my thighs, down my shins to the bottom, bum down, one more time, faster. Up to hips, flick, up, down, round to the hips, down to the floor. So that's the way to do a clean and press with an Olympic bar. Let me just show you with a shorter bar quickly, because you're much more likely to have a shorter bar at home, and in a busy gym, you are very unlikely to have the space to do that sort of motion with a full bar. And you don't need to, you can get the muscle gains without that. So, just move this Olympic bar out of the way. Okay, what I do have here is an easy bar, a Z bar, okay? You can use this for clean and press, or you can use a small fixed bar for clean and press. Either one will do. What's good about it is you can see it's not long, so you can do this sort of movement while there's other people around. You don't need a huge amount of space. The technique is almost the same. So make sure your hands are hip distance apart, slightly wider. Come back a bit for you. Exactly the same. You're going to take the bar over your shins, starting position, this position, bum down, chest up. Roll over your shins, over your knees, towards the hip crease. Then jump, push with the hips, above the head, down to your shoulders, down. Now, with the easy bar, it's obviously much lighter. Because it's much lighter, you can put weights on the end, okay? One more. Okay? So, I would suggest, if you're using an Olympic bar, just stick with the Olympic bar weight until you're comfortable, then you can start to add, but only small increments, maybe 2.5 to 5k plates at each end, okay? If you're using an easy bar, again, once you're happy with the technique, add some plates, maybe a 5 at each end. If you're a guy, maybe a 10 at each end, but go with what feels right. The aim with this routine is to challenge your muscles enough to grow them without risking injury. If at any point you feel dizzy or you feel pain, you need to stop, but you shouldn't if you get the technique right. And what you will get is a fantastic full body workout. So that's the first of the whole body superset at the start of workout 2. The second is an overhead squat. This, I promise you, is less technically complicated, but it's again a great all body movement because it uses your legs, it uses your glutes, it uses your core, it uses your shoulders and your back. Okay, so I'm going to do this with an easy bar because again, you're unlikely to have the space to do this with an Olympic bar in a gym. You're unlikely to have an Olympic bar at home. So I'll do it first silently, then I'll explain what I'm doing. Let's move back. Okay, now, that looks really easy, but interestingly, the moment you put your arms above your head and add some weight, you lose the flexibility in your hips and back, so you can't move as much. If you did a normal squat, which is where you had a bar over the back of your shoulders, you could get quite low, yeah? The moment you move, it's interesting, so you move your hands above your shoulders, you lose a lot of the range of movement, okay? As with all squats, feet face straight ahead, stomach in, tall back, shoulders down, keep your chest up. If you do a normal squat, it would be this movement. Okay, with it above your head, this movement. Keep concentration on the bar above your head because you're not looking to wave the bar, you're looking to keep the bar above your head. It's a great one for using your brain as well as your body, so everything gets a workout with this exercise. It's a fantastic one for building a good size in your bottom, good trained thighs. So if you, for example, do a lot of aerobics like running, endurance sports, you may find that some parts of your body shrink, like your bottom. Now, that's great, but if you end up with a flat bottom and you want to get some curve back, then doing this sort of exercise is brilliant for developing your rear. So that's your first superset. I'm just going to get the equipment out of the way and we'll do the second superset in this routine. Okay, so we're now going to do a barbell rear traps lift. So that works this muscle here, works the overall shape of the shoulders, and then we're going to do a barbell incline narrow grip. Right, so we're going to basically do a barbell narrow grip bench press. So we're going to be doing first of all First of all, the exercise is going to work the traps and the top of the shoulders, and then we're going to do a narrow grip bench press to work the chest. I just need to bring our bench into shot so we can do the exercise and show you what I'm doing. Okay. Make sure I can be seen. Bring it around. Right, okay, so first of all what we're going to do is we're going to do a barbell traps lift. Okay, so to do that, you'll be using a short fixed bar, or you can use an easy bar which you put plates on. Either one will work. I've got an easy bar here, so I will do it. You're going to be working in the normal training zone for muscle building, which is at 5 to 8 if you're experienced, 8 to 12 if you have had some experience. If you're a complete beginner, you should be working the 12 to 15 rep range. I'll demonstrate the exercise first and I'll come back and talk about technical points. Okay, that is a trapezium lift. It works the muscles here. Okay, now why would you bother? What you're trying to do is create an overall look that you're toned and that you are fit and you exercise. You can get quite baggy here if you do a lot of endurance and don't tone up here. It gives you a nice shape over the shoulder for both men and women. You will not end up looking like security at a nightclub, I promise you. You're not really going to be lifting heavy enough for that. What you are going to end up looking is nicely fit. On a man, it's very attractive. In a t-shirt, and a woman, it gives you a much nicer shape here, so you don't end up with him looking too skinny. Okay, so the point with this routine, when you're using a bar, is you're lifting the bar using these muscles here. A lot of people, if you go to the gym, you watch people doing any sort of exercise for their trapezium, for these what they call the traps. It's called shrugs, which is this movement here. The problem with a shrug is that it only exercises the muscle in that plane, and the point about this muscle is it connects from the neck to the shoulder and it goes behind your neck, okay? So this movement is not going to give you a full contraction of the muscle. What will give a full contraction of the muscle is this movement, which is up and back, up and back, up and back. That is a proper trapezium exercise. If you add, I'll do this one standing up for you. If you add a bar, okay, if you add a bar, you're just adding a bit of weight. You lead with your elbows. So in order to move your traps up, lead with your elbows backwards, up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. That will give you a really good traps workout, okay? So that's how you do the trapezium lift. I'm now going to show you the narrow grip bench press, which works the chest, and particularly the centre of your chest, the upper part of your chest. So you're going to need a bench for this. The previous exercise, you can do it sitting down or standing up. This you do need to lie down for. If you haven't got a bench, if you've got a sturdy chair you can use, that's fine. If you're using a chair, then you probably have to have the centre of your body on the chair. I'll show you, but you're going to need your elbows free to be able to lift this. So let me just show you first. As usual, I'll demonstrate silently and then I'll give some training points. Okay, now, what I was doing there, first of all, a normal bench press, you have your hands, your shoulder distance apart. For this bench press, hands are very close together. Your thumb should be able to touch. The point about that, if I just put the bar down, the point about having your thumbs there is you get more of a workout on your upper chest and your central part of your chest. So I can feel it when I do this movement as opposed to this movement. This movement uses more of my shoulders, okay? When you bring your arms in, using more of the upper part of your chest, I can feel it immediately, and I can feel that it's already tense, okay? So, the other point with this routine is you're not putting your elbows out, you're keeping your elbows in, okay? If you do any sort of yoga, particularly any sort of flow yoga where you're doing sun salutations, there is a movement in yoga where you drop down into a press-up position. You're taught in yoga quite correctly to keep your elbows in. The point about that is to protect your shoulders. So when you're doing a narrow grip bench press, you don't want to be doing it in this position, you want to have your elbows in, and it's this movement, you keep your elbows in. The other plus of doing this movement is you also use more of your triceps, so the back of your arms. And one of the things about this routine, and why I would say you add weights to any sort of exercise routine, is because it gives you a really good tone, and particularly you want to tone up your arms. Women are conscious of the triceps, particularly as they age. And men, if you want to look good in a t-shirt, it's pointless just to work your bicep and be skinny here. You need to get some form on the back of your arms as well, which is where your triceps are. So this movement will accomplish two things. It will develop your chest and it will develop your triceps. So that is your second superset, the second of the three supersets. The first was predominantly about your whole body, your legs in particular, and your back and your core. This is more about creating shape in terms of and definition in your body. So you've got your traps lift, which will work the upper part of your shoulders and the connection between your neck and your shoulders, and then this narrow grip bench press, which works your chest and your triceps. Now, as with workout one, the last superset is specifically an arm superset. And the reason I've done that is because most people, when they're looking to add some weights to their normal exercise routine, are particularly looking for gains of results in their arms. As summer comes and you're starting to put short sleeves on, you want to look toned, and there's nothing I think better in a man or a woman than to have really good shapely arms. So in both this and the workout one routine, I've done a specific superset for arms. So let me just set myself up for that and come back and I'll explain what exercises are. So let's move this bench out of the way. to do is we're going to do a specific overhead triceps extension, and then we're going to do a barbell curl using an easy bar. Again, as I said with the other exercises, you can use a short bar instead. If you haven't got an easy bar, I just use it because for me it's a really useful length. And I like easy bars because I can add different weights on the end, so I can adjust it for different clients and for myself. But if you've got a fixed bar, by which I mean a bar with fixed plates at each end, that's also fine. Don't go too heavy, particularly with the bicep curl. For a man, you probably don't want to go over about 20 kilos. For a woman, maybe 5 to 15 max. Let's start with the overhead triceps extension. I'll demonstrate it first silently, and then I will come back and explain technical points. Just get back so you can see me. Okay, so just put the bar down. Okay, to do that exercise, the technical points are, you're going to stand nice and tall, feet facing forward, knees soft, nice and relaxed, shoulders down. You're going to take the bar and you're going to lift it to your delts and then above your head. You wouldn't ever swing, unless you were doing a specific a clean type movement or an overhead movement, would you swing up. Here, you're looking to protect your shoulders, so you're going to bring the bar to your shoulder and to your shoulders and then up above your head. Make sure that you've got quite a tight grip, almost thumbs touching. One of these days, thumbs touching. You're going to keep your upper arm as near to your ears as you can, and you're going to keep your head still. So you want this movement, okay? And then all of the action is going to happen in the lower part of your arm, because what you're going to do is just simply bend and take the bar back down. You want to be taking it as far as you can comfortably. Be aware. Obviously, you've got the top of you've got the nodule on your spine here, at the nape of your neck. You do not want to bump that, but you want to try and lift the bar as near to there as possible. The point of that is you get a fantastic stretch on your tricep. And how do you build muscle? You build muscle not actually in the contraction, not in that movement, but in the eccentric movement, the stretch movement, because it is the stretch movement which creates the tiny tears in the muscle, which are then rebuilt to strengthen the muscle, and that's how muscle grows. So in a triceps move, where you're looking to tone up the back of your arms, it is this movement that builds the muscle. You go squeeze, and then you bring your bar down, and you just take it under control into a full stretch, and then squeeze up, full stretch, and squeeze up. At no point is my head moving around, at no point is my body moving. It's also quite good for my core, because I'm keeping my body stable using my core. I'm literally going to bend and extend, bend and extend. You can do this exercise with dumbbells. If you didn't have a fixed bar at home, you just simply would take 2 dumbbells, or you can take 1 dumbbell, hold it with both hands, take it back behind your arms and strengthen up, stretch and stretch. In terms of your breathing for this exercise, then you tend to breathe on the push movement, not the stretch movement. So breathe in, out, out, okay? And generally speaking, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, okay? So that is your first of the last supersets, the arm superset. The second is a dumbbell curl. It's a classic dumbbell curl using a barbell. You can either use a fixed barbell or an easy bar. I'm using an easy bar because I have one. I'll show you and then I'll explain the technical points. Okay, right, this dumbbell done. Now, when you do a barbell curl, obviously what you're doing is you're using your biceps to bring the bar up to your shoulders. Your starting position, your upper arm should be next to your body, should be relaxed, shoulders down. You take the bar in an underhand grip, so your palms are facing forward, you grip the bar in this position. As you bring the bar up to your shoulders, you do not move the top part of your arm. You keep that still. You make sure that it's your bicep that's doing all the work. So it's squeezing I bring the bar up. On the way down, nice under control. As I said with the tricep extension, it is the downward movement in a barbell curl or bicep curl that creates the muscle tearing, which creates the growth. So it's this movement that creates the growth, not that movement. So that movement creates power, but this one creates muscle growth. Okay, so as you bring the barbell down, be aware that a full extension is what you're aiming for. So you're aiming to get your arms completely straight. But listen to your body. There's a tendency often to strain here on your forearms. So listen to your body. If it starts to feel sore in your forearms as you come down to a full stretch, don't go as low. Maybe only just go to here. But bear in mind that if you're aiming to get your arms completely vertical and then bring them up. Completely vertical and bring them up. Okay. So that is the 15-minute shape up. In terms of sets and reps, if you are a beginner, then the aim is to do more reps and fewer sets. As a beginner, if you've not done any weights before, then you should be looking to do 12 to 15 repetitions per exercise and 3 sets. So that means you do 12 to 15 in exercise 1, straight into 12 to 15 in exercise 2, 30 to 45 second rest and repeat, 35 to 45 second rest and repeat. That's your superset 1. Okay, superset 2 exactly the same, 12 to 15 of the first exercise, 12 to 15 of the second exercise together, 30 to 45 second rest, repeat, rest, repeat. And same with the last set. So you've got 3, there are 3 dual exercises that you do. If you are intermediate, you've done some weights, maybe you do some strength exercise already, then you're looking to work at the 8 to 12 rep range. That is working towards what they call hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is muscle building. So you're still in a semi-endurance state, but you're moving towards muscle building, and that you're going 8 to 12. So again, 8 to 12 with exercise 1, 8 to 12 exercise 2 together, 30 to 45 second rest, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, rest, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, rest. Do that for each of the 3 supersets. If you already are doing weights, or you've got a history of weights, relatively recent history of weights, and you're carrying some muscle in your body already, and you're looking to really build muscle, so although I said you don't need to with this routine, if you want to, you can, then you need to be working in the 6 to 8 rep range. That is the hypertrophy range, that is the body building range, 8 to 12 reps. So you should do 8 to 12 of exercise 1, 8 to 12 exercise 2, 30 to 45 second rest, repeat, 30 to 40 second rest, repeat. That's your first superset, second superset, third superset. If you push it, you can get this all done in 15 minutes, I promise you. I've done it, I've tried myself. Actually, there is another video of this routine, which I did at sunset last week. But by the time I finished, it was too dark, and I thought I wouldn't put it up. But I did prove to myself that if you push it, you can do it in 15 minutes, okay? 3 to 4 times a week. Simplest thing to do is to add it just as a habit to the end of any other exercise you're doing. So if you're doing a run, or you do an exercise class, aerobics, yoga, whatever, just go into the gym or go at home, get some free weights out, get a barbell out, and just do this at the end of your routine. This is about shaping up for summer, so give it a month. I promise you, you will feel so much better. Particularly you'll feel good in your core and your shoulders and your back. It really does, because your body goes into growth mode, it really does lift your mood and lift how you feel about yourself physically. You'll also look better. So I'm not suggesting you don't look great now. You probably look incredibly lean and incredibly fit, but this will just add some shape. I always say it's the difference between sitting on a chair, a cheap chair that's all foam and springs, and sitting on something which is properly sprung. You get much more curve and you look much more firm. That's what will happen to your body if you do weights. You end up with a much firmer, rounded appearance, and nothing wobbles, but also nothing looks haggard or drawn. So it's a really, how to look really, really well. If you want to actually print the program out, I've written the program out for you. You can get it on the website. I'll put a note on the video at this point. The address is www.3piecepublishing.com/15, that's 15-minute-shape up. I'll also put it in the notes so you've got it there. There's also lots of other workout routines on this channel. So another one you may want to look at is whole body workouts. That is, again, www.3piecepublishing.com/whole-body-workouts, plural. Again, I'll put that in the notes so you can have a look at that as well. So those are the 2 main ones on here. I'm going to put some other routines on here. I'm going to put a pull routine and a push routine on. All of these are about exposing you to different ways of adding weights to your routine, to persuade you that adding weights, if you find a routine that suits you or find a way of training that suits you, it's a fantastic thing to add to your routine. I'm Katrin from 3Ps. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine too. Send me a comment. Please share this with anybody else you think would be interested in weights. And please do subscribe. It would be lovely to have you. We're all about fitness, particularly weights, but fitness, nutrition, diet, and resilience. So I hope you have a brilliant day. Appreciate your time. It's a privilege to be with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.